Hello everyone, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, and I have a couple of fun cards for you guys using the Simon Says Stamp Choose Happy stamp set. And I couldn't make up my mind which style of card I wanted to make, so I made two. I had an idea to do sort of a rainbow theme with this little coffee cup image from the stamp set. So I pulled out some of my Memento dye ink dewdrops here in rainbow colors. And for the first card, I did just lines of the coffee cups stamped horizontally in the different colors, starting with, I did Ladybug and then Tangelo, Dandelion, Cottage Ivy, Danube Blue, and then Grape Jelly. And then for my second card, I had this idea to stamp the coffee cups in basically radiating circles. And I considered getting a little bit technical with this, taking a circular shape and drawing it out with a pencil to get everything stamped, perfectly. And then, yeah, you all know me. I fly by the seat of my pants. That wasn't going to happen. So I just eyeballed it and just started stamping. And it was fun. It ended up, I wasn't sure how this was going to work with this sort of a shape, like a circular shape, and then these coffee mugs, and I just kind of filled in the empty spots. So as I got further and further out, more and more mugs get stamped, and I thought it turned out pretty cool. It was just fun. So same thing, started, I went red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And once both of them were stamped, I'm using the sentiment from that same set. And for the one card, I'm going to stamp the sentiment onto vellum, and I only stamped the first part of the sentiment, so I inked it up with my Versamark ink and stamped it onto some vellum, and then I'm using some Wow Detail Black embossing powder. So I only stamped the How to Make Me Happy, and I'd use some anti-static powder on the vellum first. When it comes to black embossing powder, I really like using it on vellum. You get a much crisper black image, whereas on vellum, if you stamp with a black ink and then emboss it with a clear, you get this very muted. It doesn't look very good. It's hard to explain. So when it comes to black embossing powder, I really like it on vellum. And then I took a piece of black cardstock and coated it with my anti-static powder tool again, and then stamped the entire sentiment with the Versamark ink. And then this one I coated with Detail White embossing powder. And I keep separate coffee filters for my embossing powders to funnel them back in the container so that I don't contaminate the powders, especially ones like white and black. It's so easy to just get a few grains in, and that can totally ruin an image. So once those were set with my heat tool and melted, I rubbed off the anti-static powder with my hands, and then I used my paper trimmer to trim each one down. So the full sentiment, I just trimmed it down to a rectangle. And then the vellum one, I just trimmed it down to a strip. And then the vellum, I wrapped it around the circular one. And I chose to do the vellum because I wanted to be able to see pretty much the card in its entirety, because if I had done the same thing as the other card with the whole sentiment on a solid, it would cover up too much of those mugs and you'd kind of miss the point of it like radiating outwards and the color. So for the black sentiment, I adhered that with foam tape, and then the vellum one I just wrapped around, taped it with Scotch tape, and then I adhered both of these to some black cardstock that was cut slightly larger than the white cardstock panels. And then as a final little embellishment, I pulled out a whole bunch of my Doodlebug sprinkles, and same thing, used them in like the rainbow colors that coordinated with the colors I was using. So just kind of randomly applied, yet not quite so randomly. You can see I applied like a red enamel dot near a red mug, orange, yellow, a green dot near a green mug, etc., just to kind of keep the continuity going. So for the card with the radiating circle of mugs, I took that sentiment again and then stamped the remainder of the sentiment. I masked off the top with a piece of Scotch tape so the ink wouldn't get on it. Then inked it up with Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink and peeled off the tape there so that only that bottom part of the sentiment would be stamped. And then I just inked up the mug with the Ladybug Memento ink and stamped that. And then for the second card, I just stamped the mugs again in all those same inks in the same grouping there in rainbow order. And then as a final little bit, I just inked up the very bottom of that sentiment stamp. I cleaned it off. I have that little Lawn Fawn stamp chamois that I showed in a recent haul video that I'm absolutely loving. So I cleaned off the stamp really well to make sure that none of the other areas had ink on them, and then taped off the top area of the sentiment there and inked up just the bottom word coffee. and stamp that again, you know, just to get my point across. So once that was done, I'm going to adhere both of the card fronts to their respective bases with more foam tape, just for a little bit of added dimension. And that finishes both of them off. So super fun, happy rainbow coffee themed cards. If you're interested in any of the supplies used, I will have a link below to my blog post, as well as links to all the supplies used. And this is part of my coffee card series, which is ongoing for pretty much the rest of the year, or who knows how long. So this is the third in the series. So if you check out my blog post, I will have links to the previous cards in the series so far, and I will keep updating it as I post new ones. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.